The last alien slave on the block, unwanted, filthy, starving, until a human made her his wife. A clean artificial daylight runs the length of the market corridor. The light's color temperature never changes. Everything looks clinically polished. Floor tiles, vendor stalls, reinforced support beams. A soft tone plays every few minutes over the speakers to remind crowds to keep moving. Security officers watch discreetly from high perches, ensuring the traffic flow remains smooth. A main trade platform sits at the center. On it, a young alien woman. She stands barefoot. Her emerald green skin shows bruises at her ribs and shoulder, some older, some fresh. Her long yellow hair falls unevenly over her face, matted in places from sweat. A scrap of rough beige fabric is tied around her torso and hips, barely clothing, more like improvised covering from discarded packaging material. Her posture is tense, hands clasped behind her back to appear compliant. But her eyes are constantly scanning, calculating danger, searching for a kind face. Her name, not publicly displayed, is Ravenna. Species, Orinialan hybrid. Age, mid-20s. Her last owner left marks in the database. Too emotional. Cries at night. Mismatch with household harmony. Defective. These words loop in her memory like a warning she cannot mute. Defective. 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 She tries not to shake. Buyers notice fear. Fear lowers price. Lower price means rejection. Rejection means worse outcomes, storage, disposal, recycling labor. The terms sound harmless until you see the cages. She keeps breathing carefully. In, out, quiet. Do not cry. They are watching. Do not give them a reason. But hunger pushes against her ribs. Her legs tremble a little from hours of standing. The auctioneer's voice slices through feedback static. Reduced clearance bid. She is healthy enough for domestic assistance. Final opportunity. He forces a smile as though he knows it won't matter. He has repeated this line 12 times. The crowd doesn't respond. People turn instead to fresh fruit stalls, jewelry kiosks, robot pet displays. A cheap alien servant in poor condition is not worth the trouble, especially one labeled unstable. A woman mutters quietly. Why is she shaking like that? The vendor beside her shrugs. Files say she gets anxious. Who wants that at home? More eyes dart away. Defective. Ravenna keeps her head lowered, but she hears everything. It hurts in a way she cannot hide. Her throat tightens. She breathes faster. Don't break. Don't break. Elias Marrow stands at the edge of the platform steps. Late 30s. Tall. Athletic build from manual work. Short dark hair, a square jaw with light stubble. Plain dark green utility jacket from the Oxygen Garden Division, cargo pants, reinforced boots. ID badge still clipped from his shift. Background. Once trained for Planetary Defense Service, never deployed. He left before assignment. The habit of discipline stayed. The desire for violence did not. His mission today, special procurement. He needs assistance for greenhouse expansions, labor support for nutrient line checks, and utility monitoring. Someone reliable enough to help. Someone who won't faint on a ladder or panic around machinery. He has seen countless auctions before. Usually he walks past them without looking. But today he stopped. He can't explain why yet. But something in her stillness and fear looks wrong in a place obsessed with perfection. A person shouldn't be discarded like faulty hardware. He studies her posture. Her breathing quickens when anyone approaches too close. A trauma response. Not aggression. Not instability. Fear. He feels tension coil in his chest. A protective instinct he didn't expect. Auctioneer. Last call. Buyer or we reassign her to low-tier labor. Ravenna's eyes flick up for a half second, scanning faces, searching. She sees only indifference. Her stomach drops. A lump forms tight under her ribs. This is it. They will send me below. Dark rooms. Cold floors. No future. Her knees wobble. She steadies herself. Stand straight. Don't faint. Her heartbeat slams in her ears. Elias steps forward. He lifts a hand toward the auctioneer. Firm stance. Voice low, but it carries. Stop the sale. A few heads turn. The auctioneer frowns. Sir, either place a bid. Terminate listing. She isn't fit for continued display. That's a violation of her welfare tag. Ravenna's head snaps up. Shock, fear, hope, all tangled. The auctioneer laughs. She's a commodity. If she collapses, medics pull her, not you. Elias's eyes do not waver. This level only has a medical team on standby during peak hours. It's off-peak now. If she collapses and delays operations, Trade Authority triggers a stall shutdown. He gestures around. You want that paperwork? Because I can file the welfare report right now. The shutdown freezes your slate, and every vendor near you gets flagged for sanitation review. The meat vendor blanches. No shutdown. We are on lunch rush soon. The auctioneer hesitates. Irritation creeps into his jaw. He looks at Ravenna again, and then at Elias, and then at the security sensors overhead. A slow exhale. Fine. Voluntary transfer for medical screening. Temporary custody only. Elias answers without blinking. Noted. He climbs the short stairs to the platform. Ravenna's chest rises sharply. Breathing fast again. He removes his jacket and wraps it around her shoulders. Warm fabric replaces cold exposure. Her hands clench the collar instinctively. Her mind keeps cycling. Why? What does he want? Is this a trick? But she can't push away the relief. Her voice catches. You would take a defect? He looks directly into her eyes. I don't see one. Her lips part. No sound. Her pulse hammers. He offers his hand. Not a demand. A gesture of permission. For a moment, she hesitates. If she accepts, she leaves the familiar humiliation and steps into unknown risk. Her instinct fights itself. Finally, she places her hand in his. Her grip is light. His is steady. They walk through the parted crowd. Soft whispers follow. Why a human? He'll regret it. He wants sympathy points. Maybe he can't find a human girlfriend. Laughter. Judgment. Elias hears all of it. He does not look back. Ravenna hears it too. Those words cut deeper than hunger. She keeps her gaze low. Her hands tremble harder now. Shame, not cold. A maintenance corridor replaces the noise of the market. Dimmer lighting. Hum of coolant pipes behind wall panels. Her bare feet make soft taps on the steel floor. She speaks, barely above a whisper. Do you have orders for me? He quickens his steps only slightly. Not to rush her, but to reach a safer zone. First, we treat you like a patient. Food, water, a check on injuries. She nods too quickly, condition compliance. Inside, her mind runs. He wants something later. They all do. Be cautious. Cooperate for now. They reach his apartment. He unlocks the door with a security tap. The interior is surprisingly warm. A greenhouse-style living space. Rows of hydro trays filled with thick green vines, hanging roots, bright edible leaves. A small kitchen unit. A sleeping mat on a raised platform near a window that looks out over the turquoise ocean below the spire. Not luxury, but alive. Plants breathe. Air feels fresh. Ravenna stiffens, overwhelmed. No restraints. No monitor tags. No command posts. Elias steps inside and turns to her. His tone stays calm, neutral without pity. You are here because you need rest. Nothing else. She nods, unsure if she's allowed to speak further. He retrieves a soft towel and places it by a floor drain. His attention stays on practical tasks, not her body. Wash first. You choose clean clothes after. Food is ready in a few minutes. Her voice shakes as she tries to hold dignity. You should know, I'm not skilled in anything. I fail tasks. He looks at her, expression steady. I will decide what help I need, and you will decide if you want to stay. The idea of choice stops her breath. Stay? Is that possible? She whispers a small, frightened truth. No one has asked what I want. He answers. I'm asking now. Her eyes sting. A tear escapes before she can stop it. She quickly wipes it, terrified he'll see weakness. He pretends not to notice. The shower is warm. Take your time. She bows her head once. Not as obedience. As gratitude she doesn't know how to express. While she washes, Elias prepares food. Reef fish steaks seared in a pan until edges crisp, a bowl of steaming broth, and cut orange roots softened in a small cooker. He keeps one eye toward the shower area. Not prying, but vigilant if she slips. His thoughts roll slowly, organized like a checklist. She's starving, needs protein and hydration. No visible infection, but possible internal bruising. Fear response severe, must avoid loud instructions. Do not treat her like a project. A person, not a purchase. He has rescued damaged plants before, given them air, nutrients, structure, and they thrived. But a person? He feels uncertainty and responsibility he didn't plan for today. She emerges wearing the plain black tunic and shorts he laid out. Clean now, she looks startlingly different. Not a unit for sale, but someone real. Someone who once lived before hunger stripped confidence away. She sits near the low table. He places the plate in front of her. The smell, hot meat, salt, seasoning, breaks her self-control. She picks up the fork and eats quickly until she remembers she's being watched and slows down. He waits before asking anything. Do you have a name you prefer? She stares in her bowl, panic rising. Names feel dangerous. Names create expectations. Names get erased when people claim ownership. Finally, you may call me Ravenna, but only if I can stay. She braces for rejection. Elias nods once. Ravenna, eat. When you finish, you rest. Tomorrow, we talk about work if you want work. Her breath catches again. A small sound escapes. Shock mixed with relief she cannot hide. No orders. No threats. No bargaining. Just a chance. She lowers her head slightly and eats slower, savoring each bite. Inside, terror begins to untangle. Not gone, just loosened. Elias takes a quiet drink of water. Tomorrow will bring new problems, social judgment, registration, her trauma, but he has already made his decision. He will not return her, not to a platform, not to the trade database. Never again. And Ravenna, for the first time in years, allows herself to think one impossible thought. Maybe I'm not defective. Ravenna wakes before dawn, unsure for a moment where she is. She pushes herself up on her elbows and looks around the greenhouse apartment, blinking through the dim light. Warm air, the smell of plants, the steady hum of nutrient pumps. None of it matches any place she has lived before. Fear rushes back first, then the memory of last night. Elias, the food, the shower, the bed. She checks her arms and ribs quickly, expecting restraints or a tag. Nothing. Elias stands on the balcony, leaning his weight on his forearms against the railing. His breathing is calm. He looks like someone who has learned to control his reactions. When he hears her shift, he checks over his shoulder. You slept, he says, voice quiet. That matters. Ravenna sits fully upright. I should report to duty. You don't have duty, he answers. You have recovery. She tries to read his face, looking for the usual hidden demands. You took responsibility for me. I must be useful. You will be, he says. But usefulness isn't the goal. Health is. She doesn't know how to accept that, so she remains silent. Her stomach grumbles loudly. Her face turns red. Elias pretends not to notice for 3 seconds, then motions toward the kitchen. Breakfast, he says. Meat again. You need protein. He plates grilled ocean bird with crispy skin and a light herb rub. When he hands her the fork, she eats slower than last night, testing herself. Her hands still tremble slightly, but not from fear. Hunger easing away leaves space for uncertainty. Do I return to the market later? She asks, eyes lowered. No, he says firm. You are not going back. That is a direct answer. A final answer. Her breath escapes in a shaky exhale. She tries to hide by taking another bite. Elias notices her confusion. You're under my protective custody now. Temporary, until you decide what you want next. The idea is new territory for her. People like her don't usually choose anything. He clears the plates and moves to the console mounted on the wall. We run your medical and wellness checks today. If everything is stable, we begin registration. She stiffens. Pair registration. His brows lift. No, employment and housing registration. Unless you want something else later. He said employment. He said housing. Not ownership. Not transfer. That changes how her heart beats. He grabs a compact diagnostic scanner from a drawer. Nothing large, no physical restraints, no injection devices. That detail alone calms her slightly. Ravenna offers her wrist after only a moment of hesitation. He checks pulse speed. He presses gently along her rib bruises to see if she flinches from deeper injury. She tries not to, but he sees it anyway. "You need rest," he says. "No heavy lifting for now." She watches him work. His focus is consistent. Not a single intrusive glance. She studies his eyes. Dark, steady, alert. He is evaluating, not judging. He is planning, not waiting for her to fail. He notes data on a small tablet. "Do you want to tell me what happened before the sale?" She freezes, shoulders tightening. That question could break her. Elias catches it instantly. "Not now," he says. "Not until you want to talk. And only if you think it helps you." She looks down. No one has ever delayed a question for her comfort. After scanning her vision and reflexes, he steps back. "Good. You're stable." Bruises heal on their own with a couple days of support. He retrieves a small case from a shelf. Inside, simple adhesive medical patches. He secures 2 patches near the worst bruise marks. They warm gently, easing pain. She breathes easier. Elias tosses a folded gray garment onto the bed. A clean, well-fitting jumpsuit with reinforced seams and soft interior lining. "Get dressed. We're going out." Her chest tightens. "Out where?" "Supply sector," he says. "You deserve clothes you can choose. And you need fresh air that isn't recycled from a market vent. Going out means being seen, judged." She swallows her fear. He opens the door and waits without rushing her. That patience tells her she isn't a burden, at least not yet. She steps out beside him. They walk toward the public walkways. The city shifts from private humidity to crisp ocean wind. Distant waves crash below. People stream in different directions. Some rush, some stroll, some stare. Ravenna's anxiety spikes with every glance. Her hands begin to shake again. Elias notices and changes formation. He walks slightly ahead and to the side, creating a barrier between her and the closest passersby. Her eyes focus on the back of his jacket like a lifeline. With each step, she thinks, "Don't fall apart here. Don't draw attention. Move like you belong." He leads her into a clothing store with muted lighting and minimal decor. A soft chime sounds as the door opens. The clerk stares for a second too long, especially at Ravenna's height, her green skin, her still visible patches of bruising. "Assistance?" he asks, polite tone but cold eyes. "Yes," Elias says. "We need indoor wear, outer gear, and work attire." Her size. Ravenna tries to make herself smaller. Elias stops that by placing one steady hand at the center of her back. A silent reminder, stand as you are. They browse quietly. Ravenna touches fabrics like she isn't sure she's allowed. Soft cotton, durable fiber mesh, dark colors that hide stains. She holds a slate gray long sleeve top up to her chest and glances at Elias, unsure. He gives a small nod. "Try it." In the fitting room, Ravenna changes slowly. She examines her reflection. Clean skin, new clothes, hair brushed. Not perfect, but not invisible. Is this me? Can I be this person? She exits, and Elias looks up. His eyes scan respectfully. Posture, fit, comfort, not objectification. "It suits you," he says. The clerk rings up the clothes. He hesitates again. "Payment confirmed. Do you want to tag her as property so we can link?" "No," Elias says sharply. "She is not property." The clerk clears his throat. "Understood." Ravenna stands very still. Those words sit heavily inside her. Not property, not product. Outside, the walkway is busier. More eyes, more whispers. A couple passing by pause long enough to stare openly. A hybrid with a human? The man scoffs. He's asking for trouble. Ravenna instinctively shrinks again. Elias steps slightly closer to her and says quietly, "Look ahead. Stay with me." She nods. His presence takes some weight off her chest. As they approach a balcony overlooking the sea, salty wind hits them. Ravenna touches the railing like she has never felt real, open air. In truth, she hasn't. Most lower tiers are sealed environments. Elias watches her reaction. Curiosity, awe, a flicker of emotion that isn't fear. He takes out 2 meal packs from his bag, roasted meat strips and small fruit wedges. They eat in silence at a simple bench. For the first time since she arrived in this city, her shoulders lift freely when she inhales. When she finally speaks, her voice is steadier. "Elias, what if I disappoint you?" "You will learn," he replies. "I don't expect perfection. I expect honesty." Her throat tightens again. "What if you get tired of helping me?" "I don't help people for gratitude." He looks directly into her eyes. "I help because I decide someone deserves better than what they were given." The words land harder than anything else today. She stares at the horizon, not down, not at the ground. The ocean keeps moving. The sunlight glints across the water. Something shifts inside her. A small piece of fear breaks loose and drops away. Then she asks the question that has been clawing at her chest. "What happens if I choose to stay with you?" Elias answers without hesitation. "Then we build your life. Together. One step at a time." A long breath escapes her as if her lungs are adjusting to hope. There are still the questions rattling inside her. Why did he choose her? Why risk reputation? What does he want long-term? Is there safety beyond today? But she doesn't ask them yet. Not here. Not while standing in the open. For now, the ocean wind feels like a beginning. The return to the apartment is quiet. Ravenna walks close beside Elias, her new clothes brushing softly with each step. She listens to his boots strike the floor panels in a steady rhythm, something reliable in a place where people change their minds quickly. Her eyes stay forward, but she feels the stairs still clinging to her back. Inside, the greenhouse hum settles around them again, a reminder that this place is alive and growing. She feels relief in the air here. Relief. A strange feeling she isn't used to naming. Elias locks the door out of habit, not fear. Then he steps to the side so she has room to move freely. She notices that immediately. He doesn't crowd her. He doesn't claim her space. "Hungry again?" he asks. She shakes her head. "No, still full." Her voice is more controlled now. He studies her carefully for signs of strain. "Your hands aren't shaking anymore." Ravenna looks at them as if they belong to someone else. "I didn't notice." "That's good," he says. Your body trusts the food and the environment. It's a start. There's something she hasn't dared ask until now, because it reveals how little she thinks she deserves. "You said we will register employment," she begins carefully. "What will my work be?" Elias leans against the counter, arms crossed, comfortable, not defensive. "Greenhouse operations. Assisting me with oxygen plant maintenance and nutrient distribution. It's stable work. Physical, but not brutal." He lifts his chin slightly. "You'll be learning real skills." Ravenna studies his face to confirm he isn't embellishing. He doesn't look like a man who wastes words. "I want that," she says before fear can interrupt. "I want to," she swallows. "Earn where I live." That's the plan, he confirms. He taps a command into his console. A soft ping sounds. "I sent your temporary health status to Civic Registry." He glances at her. They'll expect a basic compatibility scan tomorrow. Nothing invasive. Just confirmation you're physically capable to work. Ravenna tenses. Compatibility scans usually decide where we get placed. With employers, yes, Elias says. Not with me. I already placed you. That stops her thoughts completely for a moment. She sits on the edge of the low table. Something still unsettles her. Not fear, but a question she can't push down anymore. "Why did you choose me?" The words come out sharper than she intended. There were stronger slaves. Cheaper ones. Ones without warnings in their files. Elias doesn't react with surprise. He expected this. "Because everyone kept looking at you like you were a burden," he says calmly. "But you held your posture the entire time. Even when you were terrified. You didn't break." She thinks of the platform. Her shaking legs. The tears she tried to swallow. "I almost did," she admits. "Almost is not the same as broken," he says. "Almost means you fought." The simplicity of that statement hits her harder than any praise she's ever heard. Her eyes sting again. She tries to look away, but he doesn't force her to hold eye contact. He gives her the dignity to feel without scrutiny. Elias turns back to the console. "Next, we set up your living arrangement." Ravenna stiffens. "Living arrangement? You need a bed," he says. "Not a mat on the floor. And personal space." That word, personal, she hasn't earned that before. She doesn't know how to process it. He continues, practical as always, We'll divide the room. This side is yours. You tell me what you want in it. Not today, when you're ready. She nods, speechless. He then places a folded blanket in her hands. This one is yours now. It won't go back in a shared pile. Take care of it. A blanket. Just cloth. But the idea that something is hers. Her fingers grip the fabric tighter. Thank you. Toward evening, Elias prepares a simple meal. Grilled fish pieces with a crisp skin and a side of warm broth. Ravenna eats while his attention shifts to a datapad. She wonders what he's planning, but doesn't ask. She fears appearing ungrateful or suspicious. After dinner, Elias puts on utility gloves and moves among the plants, checking leaves and inspecting moisture roots. Ravenna watches from the table, observing how he kneels to examine younger growth and lifts older vines with careful respect. There's strength in how he works, physical, controlled strength, but nothing violent or careless. She stands and approaches slowly. Can I help now? He looks up, surprised but not displeased. If you want to, she crouches beside him. He guides her hands. 2 fingers below the leaf line, he instructs. Press gently. The soil should feel cool, not soggy. She follows exactly. Her first press is too soft. Her second too firm. She tries again until she finds the right pressure. You learn fast, he says. She glances at him from the corner of her eye, almost smiling. Almost. They keep working in silence. It's a comfortable silence, a rare feeling for her. When they finish, the lights dim to evening mode. Later, Ravenna sits near the window. The ocean wind pushes against the frame. She watches the waves far below. The view feels unreal. No cages, no walls, no loud orders. Elias sits across from her, cleaning his tools. While he works, he says something casually, but it lands with weight. You're free to leave this apartment anytime. The door isn't locked. He nods to prove it. If you're hungry, you tell me. If you're uncomfortable, you tell me. If you feel unsafe, you tell me. I won't punish honesty. She nods but doesn't speak. She needs time to believe those rules. He continues. Tomorrow, we'll give you a civic ID. That will protect you from being sold again. Her chest tightens. Fear and relief tangled together. Sold again. He knows that's what she's scared of the most. Elias folds his tools away. Get some rest, he says. Tomorrow is important. Ravenna lies down on her mat, pulling the new blanket over herself like armor. Through the greenhouse glass, she sees the reflection of her clean skin and her new clothes. It feels like watching a stranger, a version of her that might exist if she keeps fighting. As she closes her eyes, one final thought stays sharp and terrifying. If he changes his mind, all of this disappears. So before sleep takes her, she whispers into the dark. I will work hard. I promise. I won't make trouble. She doesn't expect an answer. But Elias speaks from the kitchen as he shuts off the last light. I'm not keeping you because you are useful, he says. I'm keeping you because you deserve better than what you had. Ravenna's breath catches. Her eyes stay open for a long time, staring into the night. For the first time in years, fear isn't the only thing inside her. Ravenna wakes to the scent of warm fish and herbs. For a moment, she lies still, listening. No alarms, no shouted commands, only the rhythm of nutrient pumps and Elias moving in the kitchen. That alone feels unreal. She rises quickly, folding her blanket with careful precision. Habits from captivity don't disappear overnight. When she steps out from the small partition Elias set up as her side of the room, he looks up from the stove. You're early, he says. Good. Today matters. Her hands tighten slightly. Important days are usually dangerous. He places a plate in front of her. Grilled reef fish again, small fruit slices arranged beside it. Eat enough. We'll need to walk a lot. She nods and follows his instruction. As she eats, Elias taps his wrist console to review her temporary ID token. We go to registry first, he says. Then we buy safety gear for greenhouse work. She chews slowly, thinking through every detail. Am I allowed to speak at registry? Fear edges her tone, memories of speaking out and being punished. You're allowed to speak anywhere, he answers. No one owns your mouth. She lowers her gaze. The words are simple, but they hit somewhere deep. After breakfast, they make preparations. Elias adjusts the sleeves of her new jacket and brushes away a faint crease on her shoulder. "You're walking into a system that tried to reduce you to a barcode," he says, voice steady. "Do not act like you owe them anything." She absorbs that slowly. She's used to apologizing for existing. They step into the corridor, the cool air of Aurelian Spire greeting them. Pipes from beneath the floor. A digital rail passes above, gliding silently. Ravenna keeps close, eyes scanning movement automatically. The old alertness she can't turn off. The civic registry entrance is guarded by uniformed staff. Inside, the air feels heavier, like every decision here shapes someone's future. They wait in line. Clerks speak quickly with clients at their booths. Light blue screens flash names and permissions. Ravenna feels sweat gathering in her palms, memories of forms and labels twisting inside her chest. When it's their turn, a clerk looks up, eyes pausing on Ravenna's green skin and visible bruises. Documentation. Elias hands over the temporary medical report. She requires full citizen work registration, employer designation, Oxygen Garden Division. The clerk scrolls through the data, frowning. This ID token originated from a trade platform. She was listed incomplete. The word incomplete makes Ravenna's jaw tighten. Elias answers before she can shrink back. "That listing is expired. She's under my supervision." The clerk continues, tone flat. "Any emotional instability we should note." Ravenna's breath stops. She has been labeled that before and punished for it. Elias leans forward, voice calm but cold. Her emotional responses are normal. The instability was in how she was treated. The clerk hesitates, then removes the defective tag from the file with one swipe. The sound is small, but to Ravenna, it feels like a shackle falling away. Her heart beats faster. A quiet victory, but fragile. The clerk prints a new civic ID band. It looks like a smooth strip of soft metal. Elias hands it to Ravenna. "Put it on." When she clasps it around her wrist, a tiny light activates. Proof of existence. Protection for being bought again. She stares at the light like she expects it to flicker out. The clerk hands Elias a packet. "She's legally registered under your supervision. Any abuse of authority is punishable." Elias nods once. "Understood." The moment they step back into the street, Ravenna releases a breath she didn't realize she held. Her legs feel weak from tension. "It's done," Elias says. "You're safe from the trade system now." She looks at her wrist again. Her voice is thin. "If you dismiss me, what happens?" "You get your own housing permit," he replies. "Your ID remains yours." She absorbs that. The fear doesn't fully fade. Not yet, but hope grows louder. As they walk toward the supply district, she finally voices something she has hidden. "When I lived with my previous owner, everything I owned could be taken. Even my name. How do I keep the things you give me?" "By having legal standing," Elias says. "By having rights. You have both now." Ravenna looks ahead. For the first time, the world doesn't look like a trap, just unknown. They reach a small equipment shop. Elias selects reinforced gloves, non-slip boots, and a multi-pocket utility belt for holding pruning tools. He also chooses a light tactical vest designed to protect ribs from accidental impacts during heavy work. Ravenna runs her fingers along the vest. "You think I can handle the garden work?" she asks, testing him. "I think you already did yesterday," he replies. "And you didn't quit." She swallows. Her throat feels tight for a new reason. After they leave the store, Elias pauses near a low wall overlooking the deep ocean waves. Ravenna leans over slightly, feeling the wind push her hair back. This height still makes her legs tense, but she doesn't step away. Elias rests his arms on the rail beside her. "There's one more thing," he says. Her pulse stutters. "What?" "When people see us together, some will invent stories. Some will assume you're with me because you have no choice. Some will call it improper." She braces herself. Judgment always comes with attention. Elias continues, voice firm. "I don't care what they say, but I need you to know you're not here because I pity you. I keep you here because I choose you here. And you stay because you want to." She meets his eyes directly. It is the first time she doesn't look away. I want to stay, she says. Those 4 words land like a decision she has been afraid to make. As they walk home, she stays beside him, not behind. Her steps are tired, but they are steady, shaped by something new. Possibility. She touches her ID band once more. It glows in response. Not a product. Not defective. Not replaceable. A person with a future, one she is starting to believe she can claim. And for the first time, she allows herself to picture tomorrow without fear. Ravenna's first official workday starts before sunrise. Elias hands her a mild stimulant drink that smells faintly of herbs and salt. Just a few sips, he says. It helps stamina. No crash later. She follows his instruction. The drink warms her throat and clears the fog from her mind. She ties her new gloves at the wrist. The vest fits snug around her torso, supporting her ribs without restricting breath. She checks herself twice, afraid to look unprepared. Elias notices the tension. Slow. You don't earn trust by rushing. You earn it by doing each step right. That small correction grounds her more than praise would. They head to Greenhouse Sector 4. It's larger than the home garden. Tall ceilings, rows of oxygen-rich plants stretching over multiple walkways. Soft mist sprays from overhead units. The air is warm and damp, carrying the earthy scent of living soil. Other workers already move through the rows, checking for wilt and root issues. When they see Ravenna, conversations lower to hushed tones. A young technician whispers too loudly. That must be the hybrid from the trade floor. His partner frowns. Engineer Marrow brought her in? Risky. Ravenna hears every word. She keeps her posture rigid, but her hands tighten into fists. Elias calls out without raising his voice. Back to your assignments, please. The workers nod and disperse quickly. Authority follows him like a shadow, earned, not demanded. He leads Ravenna to an open section. Your task for today is simple, he says. Check moisture levels. Cut dead leaves. Assist me if I call you. Nothing heavy until we build your strength. She nods firmly, grateful for clear instructions. He demonstrates the pressure and angle for trimming. Direct cuts. No hesitation. Plants respond to confidence. Ravenna practices. Her hand trembles once, then steadies. The dead leaf falls cleanly into the bin. That's it, Elias says. Better than most first-time workers. She does not smile, but a small spark of pride burns inside her. They continue systematically, plant by plant. Occasionally, Elias works beside her, adjusting her grip or reminding her to breathe normally. There's a rhythm to it. Clean cut, check soil, move on. For a short time, Ravenna forgets she was ever afraid. Around midday, they take a break in the rest alcove, a bench, a water dispenser, and a long view of the lower ocean through the wide safety window. Ravenna sits carefully, body still adjusting to new movements. Elias hands her a meal packet, thin-cut grilled meat layered over crispy root slices. She tastes the first bite and closes her eyes briefly. Good food still shocks her. After a few minutes of eating in silence, she speaks. What will happen if I fail at this work? You'll learn from it, he replies immediately. That answer is too fast, too easy. She tests him. What if I fail again? You try again. She stares at him, expecting more. A condition, a consequence. Instead, he examines her posture. You've been punished for failure before. She nods once, tight and reluctant. Then that stops here, he says. Failure is part of growth in this division. I train people. I don't discard them. His certainty leaves no room for her self-doubt to hide. She doesn't know how to respond, so she focuses on finishing her meal. After lunch, Elias brings her back to the rows. He shows her a tool she hasn't seen, a diagnostic probe that checks leaf health with a quick pulse of light. She moves through the line, smoothly now, every action more confident. One of the technicians, the same one who whispered earlier, approaches. He keeps his expression neutral. You're working under Marrow, right? He asks Ravenna directly. Her pulse jumps. She glances at Elias, not for permission, just reassurance. Yes, she says. The technician nods. Good luck then. He expects discipline, but he doesn't waste good talent. Ravenna blinks. She expected suspicion, not acknowledgement. Thank you, she says, careful with the words. As he walks away, Elias says quietly, you earned that. People change their tune when they see effort. Ravenna holds that moment close. It feels like the first real step toward belonging. By evening, she's tired, shoulders sore, legs heavy, but not overwhelmed. She helped keep something alive today. That matters. When they return home, Elias prepares dinner while she showers. Hot water rolls over muscles she didn't know she had. When she dresses again, she finds a small item on her bed, a hairbrush. New, wrapped. She picks it up like it might disappear. She brushes slowly, untangling her long yellow hair. She looks presentable, not hidden, not filthy. She sits at the table. Elias places roasted meat and a warm broth between them. Good work today, he says. The praise stirs something comforting and frightening. She lowers her gaze, processing. After dinner, Elias pulls out a small datapad. There's one thing left, he says. Every citizen chooses or confirms a personal record name for official use. Ravenna straightens. Her heart beats unevenly. Do you want to keep the name Ravenna? He asks. Or choose another? Her hand goes unconsciously to her wrist, the new ID band. Her identity, not a product label. She has one chance to define herself again. She taps her chest with 2 fingers. Ravenna stays, she says. Clear, firm. He enters the update without question. A soft tone confirms the change. Ravenna is now a legally recognized citizen, standing on her own identity. Elias looks up from the console. That's it. You're official. He nods once, not overly serious, not overjoyed. Proud, in a quiet, controlled way. Ravenna feels the shift inside her like a door unlocking. She is no longer someone to be resold, no longer an incomplete record. She belongs somewhere now. Before she lies down to sleep, she looks across the room to Elias. He is inspecting tomorrow's task list. Unaware, she is staring. She thinks a slow, careful thought. He did not save me to own me. He saved me so I could own myself. Tonight, she sleeps not because exhaustion forces her, but because she feels secure enough to close her eyes. Ravenna wakes with a strange feeling in her chest. Not fear, not hunger, but anticipation. The soreness in her arms reminds her she worked yesterday, not suffered. Elias is already up, tightening clamps on a portable hydro tank. His attention shifts to her immediately when she moves. Morning. Hydrate, he says, handing her a glass of clean, cool water. She drinks without hesitation. Clean water never felt like something she was allowed to enjoy before. He looks her over, checking for signs of strain. Not intrusive, just ensuring she's all right. Today will be longer than yesterday, he says. We had outdoor tasks. The wind can be difficult, so stay close. Ravenna nods. Her voice is more steady each day. I'm ready. Elias gives a short, satisfied exhale. Good. They eat quickly, salted reef bird strips and warm root puree. Energy food. He hands her a nutrient patch for sustained strength. She places it on her upper arm, surprised at how easily she adapts to these new routines. In Greenhouse Sector 4, their arrival no longer draws as many stares. Some workers greet Elias with nods. A few even acknowledge Ravenna now. Trust grows slowly here, earned, not gifted. Her morning is spent pruning and checking root growth. Elias monitors her progress from a short distance, stepping in only when absolutely necessary. She appreciates that. It means he believes she can handle this. Around midday, he points toward a locked gate. We're heading outside the main structure. The coastal terrace irrigation is behind the spire wall. The thought of open air still scares her. Height triggers a deep instinct she doesn't understand, but she nods, determined not to look weak. They step through the gate into a wide terrace facing open sea. The wind here is stronger, constantly pushing against them. Ravenna tightens every muscle to stay balanced. Her eyes widen as she looks down. The ocean churns far below. The platform feels one wrong step away from ending everything. Elias rests a hand lightly on her shoulder. Not restraining, grounding. Look forward, not down. Focus on me. She forces her gaze upward. He leads her slowly along the walkway. both wearing safety harnesses clipped to the railing. He moves with practiced ease. She follows, slow but steady. You can do this. One step, another, breathing controlled. At the irrigation junction, Elias kneels and shows her the control valves. We check for leaks first. He signals her to crouch beside him. The exposed pipes tremble from water pressure. The vibration hums through her gloves. He points. See that condensation? That's a minor leak. You mark it here. He hands her a small scanner. She scans the pipe, watching the screen flag the issue in red. Perfect, he says, voice low and approving. That single word sends warmth through her chest. She feels proud, a new sensation that frightens her less than before. While they work, a supervisor approaches, the same technician who briefly spoke with Ravenna yesterday. He watches her operate the scanner. You're catching on fast, he says. The compliment is direct and not sarcastic. Ravenna lowers her head, unsure how to respond, so Elias speaks instead. She learns quickly because she listens. Something rare. The supervisor smirks. Fair enough. Then he turns to Ravenna. When you finish here, Mero's team needs someone in the north rows. Could you manage? Ravenna looks to Elias. He nods. Yes. Assign it. She feels the shift happen. She's not invisible. She's not a risk. She's part of the workforce. When the shift ends, her legs are stiff, her shoulders sore, but she's energized. She kept up. She didn't fall behind. On the walk home, Elias hands her a hydration bottle with a slight grin. You didn't complain once. I had nothing to complain about, she replies. He gives a quiet, approving look. Good. Back at the apartment, she showers and changes into a clean black sleep shirt. Elias cooks dinner. Smoked meat slices with thin-cut vegetables and a salty dipping sauce. They sit at the small table, the city lights glowing faintly through the window behind him. During the meal, Ravenna studies his expressions. He's thoughtful tonight, planning something. She finally asks, You've been reviewing my registration details often. Why? He sets down his fork. Because we're progressing to the next step tomorrow. Community introduction. Her stomach tightens. People learn about me. Some already have, he answers. But I want them to see you working. Present. Healthy. Not a rumor. She tenses at the idea of more eyes staring. He notices instantly. Look at me, he says softly. She lifts her head. No one will determine your worth by watching you, he says. You already proved it through action. She swallows hard. If someone challenges me, then they'll deal with me, he replies, calm, clear, protective. There is no false bravado, just certainty. Ravenna finishes her meal and helps clean the dishes. When her hand brushes Elias's accidentally while drying a plate, a small shock runs through her. Heat builds in her cheeks. She quickly sets the plate aside and pretends to refocus on the task. Elias pretends not to notice, but he does. His eyes track her movements once before turning away. The air feels different between them now. Closer. Before sleep, she sits on her mat brushing her long yellow hair. A nightly ritual that still feels like luxury. Elias walks past and pauses. You look more confident, he says. I feel less afraid, she admits. He nods once. Good. Keep that. She hesitates, then asks the question slowly forming in her chest. Why do you believe in me so quickly? He considers the answer carefully. Not rushed, not shallow. Because you're doing the same, he says. You trusted me before I earned it fully. So now I'm earning it. Those words stay with her long after he dims the lights. Ravenna lies down. For the first time, sleep comes not from exhaustion, but from hope that tomorrow might be even better than today. Ravenna wakes before the morning alarm. Her body aches from yesterday's work, but the pain feels like progress, not punishment. She dresses quickly. Dark work pants, fitted utility top, boots laced snug, and she ties her hair back with steady hands. No trembling. Elias notices as soon as she steps out. Good posture. Good focus, he says. He tosses her a small breakfast packet, grilled meat, and a firm nutrient loaf. Eat on the way. We're leaving early. Where? She asks, biting into the meat. North Rose, he says while tightening the strap on his wrist scanner. We'll be working with the other crew. It'll be crowded, but necessary. Crowded. That single word twists in her stomach, but she squares her shoulders and follows him out the door. The walk to the North Rose takes them deeper into Aurelian Spire than she's gone before. More foot traffic, more conversation. The city feels louder here, layered with noise from vendors and machinery. People look, some stare. Ravenna keeps her eyes ahead. She doesn't hide behind Elias this time. Instead, she matches his pace. When they reach the greenhouse entrance, the North Row team leader, Supervisor Dara, approaches. She's sharp-eyed, mid-40s, posture straight. She scans Ravenna from head to toe, expression unreadable. "So, this is the one," Dara says. Ravenna stands still, not shrinking. Elias folds his arms, waiting. Dara nods once, not unfriendly. "We judge by work here. Follow instructions. You'll be treated like the rest." Ravenna answers clearly. "Understood." Dara hands her a pruning tool and points to a dense cluster of oxygen vines high up in the rows. "Climb to row 4. Trim only the damaged leaves. Don't disturb the young growth." A long ladder stretches upward. The height triggers an immediate tightness in Ravenna's chest. The ocean drop far below flashes through her mind, but she refuses to freeze. She takes a breath and grabs the rungs. Halfway up, her pulse spikes. Her hands lock for a second against the metal. Her vision wobbles. Fear hits, sharp, physical, memories of the auction, the platform's height, the threat of falling. A voice reaches her from below. "Ravenna," Elias says. "Calm, solid, one breath. Then keep going. You are not falling." Her fingers release their panic grip. She inhales once, slow, and climbs again. Row 4, steady ground beneath her boots. She gets to work, carefully cutting, checking angles. No panic now, just the task. Down below, a worker whispers, surprised, "She made that faster than Halen did last week." "Yes," Dara replies, loud enough to hear, because she doesn't waste time fearing the wrong things. Elias hides the small smile forming at the corner of his mouth. Hours later, Ravenna wipes sweat from her brow, gloves dirty, vest streaked with green. Supervisor Dara returns to inspect her section. No damaged stems. Clean cuts. "Good judgment," Dara says. "You handle height stress well." Ravenna's chest swells, breath catching for a different reason. She hears herself ask, with a strength she didn't expect, "I can keep this assignment?" Dara nods. "You earned it." This time, Ravenna allows herself the smallest, real smile. Elias steps up, handing her a water bottle. "Proud?" he asks quietly. Ravenna takes a long drink. Then she meets his eyes. Yes. Their shift ends near sunset. They walk home slower than usual. The sky is turning a warm orange hue outside the spire windows. The color makes Ravenna stop without warning. "What is it?" Elias asks. "I've only ever seen muted lights," she says. "Not this." He gives her time to take it in. For once, she doesn't rush. She lifts a hand as if she could catch the color in her palm. Then, something unexpected happens. A sudden alarm buzzes from her ID band. A notification. Ravenna freezes, panic flashing in her eyes. "What is that?" she asks, voice tight. Elias steps closer and gently takes her wrist to view the alert. "It's a status review," he explains. "Routine. After a person leaves trade status, the system checks living conditions within 72 hours. "What does that mean?" she presses. "It means we confirm to the system that you live here," he says. "As my worker, not my possession." She nods, but worry remains. They could change their mind. If they suspect. They won't. Elias cuts in firm. "I signed for you. Legally. They can't take you back without turning this place upside down." His tone leaves no space for doubt. She exhales, slow relief spilling into her shoulders. Back home, Ravenna helps prepare dinner again. Their hands move around each other without awkwardness now. Passing plates, slicing vegetables, seasoning meat strips. When her hand brushes his this time, she doesn't move away instantly. He notices. His chest rises slightly, slow, and controlled, like he's holding back a reaction. When they sit at the table, Ravenna speaks before she loses courage. "You said today we would introduce me to the community." "Yes," Elias says, watching her carefully. "You already did. By working, by being seen doing it well. She absorbs the idea that she has already taken her place just by existing where she belongs. Next step is easier, he adds. Dinner outside. Public. You'll sit beside me. Not behind. Ravenna freezes with her fork halfway lifted. People will talk. Let them, he says. I will not hide who stays with me. She looks down, fighting the urge to cry again. Happiness hurts too, sometimes. She raises her head slowly, eyes locked to his. I want that, she says. The words are soft, but full of intent. Elias nods, one slow, approving nod. Good. That night, when she lies down, Ravenna does not wrap the blanket tight like armor. She folds it loosely over her legs, relaxed. She touches her ID band, not to check for alarms, but as a reminder she is real here. Her last thought before sleep. He does not fear being seen with me. And that is how belonging begins. Ravenna wakes feeling calm. Not watchful. Not alert to threats. Just calm. The sun simulation has not brightened yet, but she can already smell breakfast, the distinct scent of sizzling seasoned meat and warm broth heating on the stove. She stands and smooths her clothing. Her hands do not shake. Elias turns when he hears her steps. His expression softens just slightly. We go out tonight, he says while plating the food. Dinner on the main deck. You'll see more of the city. Ravenna sits across from him, focused. Will people stare again? Yes, Elias answers. He isn't offering false comfort, but it will not change anything. She nods once. That is enough. Work begins smoothly. Ravenna climbs higher rows without hesitation. Her movements are confident, sharp, and efficient. Workers nearby notice. Even the ones who doubted her now speak to her directly. At break time, Supervisor Dara stops her briefly. You did good, Dara says, short and honest. Tell Marrow I'll take her again next shift. Ravenna's chest lifts. This is not kindness. It is respect earned through action. Elias overhears and acknowledges with a quiet tilt of his head, as if he expected nothing less from her. After shift, they walk to the main deck, a wide outdoor platform lined with street food stalls and seating. Neon displays glow against the ocean dusk. The air smells of cooked meat, sea salt, and hot oil. Crowds fill the space, laughing, talking. The noise is intense, but not hostile. Ravenna steps carefully into the open area. Every instinct urges her to stay near the wall. Less visible, less vulnerable. But Elias gestures to a table in the center of the deck. Here, he says, in the open, fully seen. Her pulse spikes. She forces air into her lungs. She sits. Elias orders for them. Charred reef meat plates, seasoned rice strips, a small dish of sweet-spiced fruit to finish. Ravenna keeps her eyes on the surface of the table to avoid meeting stares. But she hears them, the soft murmurs, the curious glances. The usual commentary. Something shifts when Elias places his hand on the table. Palm up, a silent offer. Not a command, not a test. Choice. Ravenna hesitates. She looks at his hand, then at the people staring, then back to him, and she realizes something clearly. If she does nothing, they will decide the story. But if she decides, then no one else controls it. She places her hand in his. Firm, visible. The noise around them doesn't stop, but the tone changes. Elias does not smile widely. He doesn't perform affection. He simply holds her hand with calm certainty. The message is clean and loud. This is not temporary, and not shameful. Ravenna lifts her head, meeting the eyes of a woman who is whispering. The woman looks away first. For the first time in public, Ravenna feels tall for the right reasons. When the meal arrives, they eat slowly. Elias keeps conversation casual, asking which tools she prefers and whether she wants a longer vest for outdoor work. He avoids any subject that would pull her back to pain. Ravenna listens to his voice and feels something new. Not gratitude, not fear, something steadier. Trust turning into attachment. When the plates are nearly empty, she speaks quietly. I want to stay, not only because I am safe here, but because I choose to stay with you. Elias freezes for one measured second. Then, that is exactly what I hoped you would say. Her breath releases slowly, like tension she's held for years finally letting go. He shifts his chair a little closer. "There is one more step," he says. "If you're ready." Her heart jumps. "What step?" He reaches into his jacket and removes a small, glowing seed-like object, a tiny living flower bud. It pulses faint light. Ravenna's breath catches sharply. She knows what this is, even before he speaks. "Our greenhouse division uses a bond bloom ritual for partnerships," he says. "It marks commitment, not ownership." He holds her gaze. "Only if you want it." Ravenna's voice falters with emotion she cannot hide. "I want it." Elias leans forward, lifting the bloom. He places it gently against her upper chest, above her heart. The bud responds to her warmth, glowing brighter as thin organic roots trace a soft circular pattern into her skin. A permanent mark, visible proof of connection. Chosen, not forced. A few bystanders stop to watch, but no one snickers. No one mocks. Ravenna places her hand over the new mark, stunned by the reality of it. She looks up at Elias. There is fear in her eyes still, but it's the kind that comes when someone finally has something to lose. He touches her hand briefly, reassuring her. "You're my partner now," he says. "Not my responsibility. My choice." Ravenna feels the truth of it vibrate through her chest. She speaks the words she once believed she would never be allowed to say. "And you are mine." They walk back to the apartment side by side, not hiding from anyone's view. When they reach the door, Ravenna hesitates, not from fear, but realization. She will never return to who she was before. Inside, the lights glow softly. The plants breathe. The room feels like a home, their home. Elias sets a hand against her cheek, slow, careful, asking permission without words. She leans into the touch, closing her eyes for a second that stretches into something deeper. She whispers, "I'm not defective." His thumb brushes her jaw. "You never were." Ravenna steps closer, placing her forehead gently against his. No rush, no pressure, just closeness that feels right. And in that moment, the past loses its grip. The future opens wide. She belongs. She is chosen. She is home. The end.